You stand on the shore of a dead ocean. The only sound is your own labored breath. The air tastes of rotten eggs and burnt matches. Your throat stings with each intake of this poisonous air. Heat ripples off the water in shimmering waves. Black volcanic rock edges the shore, slick and sharp underfoot. The water laps these rocks, warm, too warm. It feels scalding to the touch, but you dare not withdraw. Salt scum bubbles on the surface. No fish dart away. No crabs scuttle under rocks. For a moment, you feel like the only living creature left on this shore. The silence is total and suffocating. Behind you, the land is dull brown and gray. Rolling hills fold toward a shimmering horizon. Not a tree nor fern remains. The lush forests that once blanketed this supercontinent are nothing but stumps and ash. Even the ferns and seed plants you studied in books are ghosts in your memory. The great coal swamps of the Carboniferous, once thick green seas of plant life, are gone. Where forests once reached for the sky, now only cracked dirt and dust remain. Soil blows from riverbeds into the pale sea that cannot use it. On this morning, the world is naked and broken. You taste ash on your lips and cough. A tiny speck of rock powder caught in your throat, and now it tickles relentlessly. You hack like a paleontologist fresh from a fossil lab. She coughed out limestone powder once and joked that she tasted Jurassic. Something so lively before now feels utterly empty. The sand under your boot feels stiff, as if even the earth forgot how to grow. Birds have vanished. Even insects are ghosts. This silence is complete. How did the brightest, greenest world turn to all this? Blood-red clouds paint the sky overhead. Far beyond the barren hills, something is burning. Somewhere in the north, volcanoes the size of mountains spew rivers of flame. For 1,000,000 years, these fiery vents in Siberia have poured molten rock across land the size of continents. Each eruption is like a mountain born in the air, blanketing the ground with lava. Gas and smoke billow high into the sky. The air already feels heavy with heat. Mountains weep sulfur and methane. Everywhere you look, heat washes over the earth in dull waves. Lava on this scale is hard to imagine. We say it's the size of Western Europe, but what does that mean on the ground? It means a continent of hot rock spreads out like spilled porridge. The eruptions shoot gas higher than any cloud. Tiny droplets of sulfuric acid float down as invisible rain. When each drop lands, it burns and hisses on contact. It feels like standing under a flaring blowtorch. The ozone above is thinning like burnt plastic. The sunlight has become a brute, harsh on skin and eyes. You raise an arm to shield yourself, but even that brings little relief against this inferno of light. And day after day, year after year, the world grows meaner. First, the sky was choked by fire. Then the rain turned acid. Whatever survived one calamity faces the next. Fish that escaped the lava suffocate in carbonic acid. Coral reefs, once prism gardens beneath the waves, are bleaching to chalk. All around, the web of life frays. The dying feeds on itself. Predators starve as prey vanish. Plants wither without insects to carry their pollen. Insects after insects fall like dominoes. Even cockroaches, famously indestructible, thin to trembling ghosts. Bad after bad, wave after wave, life is knocked down. It has been tens of thousands of years, still a blink in geological time. The great furnace of Earth is winding down. Already the volcanoes are tired. At last, the fire sleeps. The sky clears a little. Rain resumes, though it still tastes faintly of acid. The wind picks up, carrying shreds of salt water and soot. The water around your feet is still scalding, but not any hotter than it was. The only permanent thing is the emptiness. The oceans are still almost lifeless. The land is mostly barren rock. In this quiet aftermath, only pockets of survivors cling on. Tiny green mats of algae coat sunken rocks deep in the ocean. A few shellfish still grip rocky ledges far below. In tepid shore pools, a lone fish flickers through murky water. You squat beside one such pool. It lifts its gasping body and meets your gaze with a single golden eye, as if startled to find another creature. Then it darts away, fading into the gloom. On land, small shadows flit through ash. Mammal-like reptiles scuttle across charcoal shards. Their backs often hold pieces of roasted fern fronds. They freeze at your approach, nostrils flaring, then melt away. Somewhere behind a clump of rocks, a paleontologist blinks. She's clambering in this dust for hours, and her leg is sore. She grins at you with dusty teeth as she closes a field notebook. She had hoped for a new skeleton, but even a scrap of bone is celebrated. In this silence, any sign of life, even bone, is treasure. Even the wind has given up. You step away from the water and walk into a smoky haze. Not a single bird cuts the orange sky. The sun's disk is dim behind heat waves. It might have been a beautiful dawn once, if someone had ears to hear it. Everything that was once green and teeming feels burned. There is only faint life, a rat scurrying into a burrow, or maybe just a plant sprout pushing through ash. In this endless silence, how do we know Earth isn't dead? Night falls slow and warm. The sky is hazy orange, like ink in a glass. You make camp on dust and dream of green things. Above, faint stars twinkle through layers of smoke. Everything here is muted. The charred campfire, the pale sleeping bag, the silent scientists around it. No one to witness this beginning or ending. Earth is exhausted. Even the stars seem tired. Someone coughs in the darkness. The closest scientist shields the fire with both hands, feeling its reluctant warmth. She whispers, "Morning again," and cracks a shaky grin. From high above, the pattern of scars is clear. Turn your eyes to space and see one great land. There are no scattered continents yet, just one supercontinent, one giant blue ring of sea. Imagine the globe. 1/3 is clay-colored Pangaea, the rest a single vast ocean. The scattered blue marble you know does not exist here. If you could walk from the northern tip of Pangaea to the southern, you'd cross lands that will become Siberia, Europe, North America, Africa, Antarctica, and Australia. You'd trudge over mountains that don't exist yet, through rivers that haven't carved their valleys, across coasts that will be torn apart and reassembled over the next 250 million years. The journey would cover more than 15,000 kilometers, a bleak march through heat and dust, with no end in sight. Nobody will ever take that hike. Humans won't exist for another 250 million years. This continent is empty of eyes that could appreciate it. The land itself has no one to name it. Pangaea's shape rules everything. One land means nothing can hide, One climate pattern means extremes everywhere. Consider the interior. Thousands of kilometers from the nearest ocean, this is a desert beyond anything in the modern world. Days scorch at 50 degrees Celsius. Nights can freeze below zero. Rainfall comes not in centimeters per year, but per decade. The sand is deep red with iron oxide, rusty like Mars. Nothing grows here. It is not even the Sahara. That has oases and a sea breeze. The heart of Pangaea has none of these. If you wander into this hypercontinental desert, you are likely walking to your doom. But on the coasts, the story is different. Where Pangaea meets the global sea, green ribbons appear. Seasonal monsoons roar down from the ocean with fierce rain. Picture a river swollen with floodwater, carrying life. These rains fill rivers that wash mineral-rich silt inland. There, conifers take root and ferns unfurl. The Tethys Sea, a warm, shallow arm of the ocean at the eastern edge of Pangaea, is a refuge. Coral reefs are beginning to rebuild along its margins. Schools of fish dart in its waters. Marine reptiles, pioneers of a second age of the seas, flicker near the surface. Life clusters at the wet edges, leaving the dry interior largely empty. This clustering has consequences. All survivors crowd the same spots. Predators have no private hunting grounds. Herbivores graze the same limited vegetation. Species that, on a split world, might live apart, are forced to live side by side. Rivalry never lets up. Evolution races forward, because there's never a pause. And since all land is connected, a creature born in what will be Brazil can wander generation by generation to future Germany. No oceans stand in its way. Rivers are the arteries of this world. Follow one inland. In a rare mountain range, monsoon clouds gather. Lightning flares. Rain hammers down. A trickle of water forms. It becomes a brook, then a river, carving its path. Amphibians splash along its muddy banks. Lizards hunt insects on slick stones. The water carries nutrients from the interior, feeding plants as far as the coast. Ferns and primitive conifers crowd the riverbanks. Insects begin to return. Buzzing flies, crawling beetles, even grasshoppers chirp in the new breeze. The sound of running water is one of the few familiar things in the early Triassic. Away from rivers, the land is harsh. Soil bakes into hardpan under the constant sun. Only tough plants survive. Squat, drought-resistant bushes and succulents that hoard every drop of water. They wait years for a single storm, then grow in furious bursts of green, only to go dormant again. The animals here are survivors by necessity. They are small, so they need less food and water. Lizards scurry into burrows at sunset. Tiny mammals shelter under rocks by day. Nothing large or flashily beautiful can last here. It is simply enough to be alive. That alone is achievement enough in the early Triassic. Pangaea will not last forever. Beneath your feet, deep in the mantle, heat is churning. Forces are pulling the crust apart. Cracks will become rifts. In time, these rifts will widen into new oceans, ripping continents apart. For now, the supercontinent dominates the globe. It shapes the climate and says where life can be and where it cannot. The survivors of the Great Dying have become explorers of a changed world. Each creature learns where to find water, where to graze, where to hide from predators. Generation after generation maps this land with their bodies and their deaths. You can almost see their journey in the footprints of herds long gone. And now, something new is stirring. The old rulers of the Permian are weakened. New creatures step into the light of day. Empty niches are filling. The crucible of Pangaea will forge a new world. But pressure is on more than just the animals. It is on the ground beneath them. The thin skin of soil has to relearn how to hold life. Because before you can grow a forest, you need roots, nutrients, the slow chemistry of soil. For 10 million years after the die-off, that machinery simply doesn't work. Geologists in a far future will see something odd. Almost no coal in these layers. No swampy forests meant no coal beds. A gap. It's one of the strangest blanks in the rock record. Fungi had inherited the earth during that time. The early Triassic is sometimes called the fungal spike. Millions of spores float in ancient sediments. Fungi thrive on decay. They break down dead trees, fallen leaves, everything. Normally, they are part of a cycle. Plants grow and die. Fungi eat them. Nutrients return to soil. New plants grow. But the great dying broke the cycle. Suddenly, there were no new plants growing. The forests were dead, but the fungi were still hungry. They consumed the fallen wood, the leaf litter, even the thick organic mud. They ate through the accumulated biomass like fire through dry grass. With no new growth to replace it, the world is left barren. The soil is depleted and nutrient poor. Even if a stray plant tries to root, the ground won't support it. The fungi had sterilized the earth. The balance had tipped so far that it took 10 million years to tip back. Slowly, after those long ages, green returns. Small plants are pioneers. Scrubby horsetails and ferns spread along rivers and coasts wherever moisture allows. Tough conifers begin to sprout needles and cones. They stabilize the soil bit by bit, creating shade and shelter. Each new plant adds life back into the dirt. Year by year, more species join in. By the middle of the Triassic, low forests stand along coastlines. Seed ferns unfurl fronds in the understory. The mud of rivers traps leaves, making peat. New coal swamps slowly start to form again. The cycle of life begins to close once more. But something has changed forever. The great club moss trees and giant tree ferns of old are gone. The future of flora is conifers, cycads, and ferns of a new kind. The composition of every forest is different. Pangaea's next chapters will be written in new, green ink. The coal gap is a scar, a record of how deep the wound was. It shows that this mass extinction removed not just systems, but whole systems. It reminds us that Earth, life, and balance are fragile. 250 million years from now, in the silence of the early Triassic, something is breathing again, and that is enough. You step out onto cracked earth. The midday sun pulses above, heating the empty landscape. Dust rises from your boots, swirling in the dry wind. The air is still and heavy. The silence stretches endlessly. It isn't the peaceful quiet of sunrise or snowfall. It's the silence of emptiness. Here, in the early Triassic, something is not yet right. We have stepped into a lost world. There are no birdsong, no cicadas, no frogs. The shrubs and ferns barely stir. Paleontologists might dig for bones and find nothing but sterile dirt. The ground is littered with rock and ash, not leaves. It's a barren world, waiting for life to return. A dark patch of petrified trees crowns the horizon, like a solitary monument. Through the haze, a squat, barrel-bodied creature shuffles between the charred trunks. It has a broad snout, shaped like a shovel, a pig-sized body, and two downward curving tusks on its lower jaw. This is Lystrosaurus, an unremarkable-looking but hardy survivor. It plods on short legs and tugs at roots and tubers in the ash. It is not fearsome, but it is everywhere. This plain digging animal seems perfectly built for a ruined world. For Lystrosaurus, these traits might explain its dominance. But can being part pig, part turtle be the whole story? You step inside a cool burrow and take a breath of relief. The air is damp and cooler here. Outside, the desert sun is a dry furnace. The Lystrosaurus has backward curving tusks and sturdy forearms. It's a natural digging machine. It could carve out burrows or search for roots like a modern boar. Underground, temperatures stay steady and predators stay out. It sleeps and hides in the shade it creates. In this burrow, you could almost forget the world burned outside. Lystrosaurus also had another trick. It could eat almost anything green. Its blunt beak and tusks could crunch through tough stems, tubers, roots, even the occasional new fern or shoot. In a world where vegetation was sparse and scattered, a picky eater would starve. Lystrosaurus was the opposite of picky. If it could find a plant, it would eat it. Some scientists suggest it might even have had a relatively high metabolism or big lungs to suck in that smoky air. We're not sure of the details, but the result is clear. Wherever we dig, Lystrosaurus is there in numbers. It inherited a world where almost nothing else could survive. But when life slowly returns, will this generalist champion hold its crown? You sift through trays of early Triassic fossils. Almost every label you find reads Lystrosaurus. If extinction had an MVP, this creature took the trophy. Scientists call it a disaster taxon, a life form that thrives in the immediate aftermath of catastrophe. Disaster taxa are tough generalists, not glamorous champions. They don't win by outcompeting others. They simply outlast. They explode into empty ecosystems, filling niches left vacant by doom. In many ways, Lystrosaurus was the ultimate disaster taxon. It inherited a world of scarcity, harsh climate, limited food, almost no predators. It didn't thrive because conditions were easy. It thrived because it could endure what would kill everything else. For a while, Lystrosaurus had the earth to itself. It walked among the ash of a world reset, virtually alone. It was, literally, the face of a world emptied of almost everything else. But that success was born of crisis. Disaster taxa usually win the short game, not the long one. As habitats recover and green returns, more specialized creatures push in. Lystrosaurus's 95% dominance will erode. 90, 80, 50, until normal diversity returns. By the middle Triassic, it was just another animal. And then, gone. The last Lystrosaurus disappears from the record in the mid-Triassic. So can the victor of the apocalypse keep its crown forever? Or will new competitors topple it once the world recovers? A single green shoot thrusts through the cracked clay of a dried riverbed. It bends in the hot wind, fragile but persistent. We watch as more shoots appear. Tiny ferns unfurling delicate fronds, a pale sapling poking above the dust. In places where water still pools, grasses grow. A paleobotanist on the dig team tastes a resinous twig. Smell of pine is back on the menu. The hillsides, once brown and bare, are faintly shaded with green along river valleys and damp pockets. This is not the dripping emerald of carboniferous swamps. It is a tough green. Sparse conifers with waxy needles, cycads with stiff, feathery crowns, seed ferns underfoot, and ginkgo leaves near stream beds. Horsetails rise in marshy low spots. The middle Triassic forests look different. Shorter trees spread wide, letting sunlight touch the ground. Each new sprout is a small victory. In a world of brown and death, green means hope and fuel for more life. These pioneer plants are the first colonists on an empty stage. Look at these ferns. They reach for the sunlight through the new canopy. Every needle and frond is a testament to survival. In these damp pockets, a tiny forest is budding. From north to south across Pangaea, we find these plants. They populate all the edges. They don't know what's coming, but for now, they push upward, stubbornly green. This is just the beginning. What will this green change? If plants stand up first, who will follow? You feel a crunch underfoot. When you look down, a hard-shelled beetle scurries away, unhurt. It's one of hundreds now swarming the new leaf litter. The insects have returned with the plants. The great dying hit them hard too. The huge dragonflies of old are gone, and many beetle lineages died out. But now, beetles are diversifying again. Hundreds of species emerge, filling roles as wood borers, leaf eaters, predators of each other. Primitive flies appear in the air. Cockroaches scuttle, unchanged since the Carboniferous. And then there are the giants, Titanopterans. The name means titan wings, and it is not an exaggeration. These grasshopper-like insects are enormous, some 15 centimeters long, with wings spanning 20 centimeters. Males have special ridges on their wings that click when rubbed together. In the Triassic forest, buzzing and chirping echo through the trees. The food web is rebuilding. Producers, herbivores, predators. The cycles that the great dying interrupted are turning again. The silence is broken by buzzing and clicking. Every crackling leaf and falling pine needle meets an insect. A cockroach zips past your boot, unfazed by your presence, its ancestors unchanged for ages. Together, this buzz and chatter feel like a heartbeat. Life returning. In this primeval chorus, what will join next? You crouch by a stream. An ancient reptile ambles in to drink. Its stance catches your eye. Its legs are tucked under its body, supporting it like stone columns. Unlike older reptiles that sprawled flat, this creature walks upright. It is an Archosaur, a new kind of reptile that first appeared before the Great Dying. Its erect gait is paying off now. In the early Triassic, Archosaurs walk and run more efficiently. They begin to fill the roles left vacant, both predators and plant eaters. Even their footprints hint at this change. Trackways show Archosaurs covering ground in long, efficient strides. It's as if the Triassic stage is theirs to shape. They run in dappled sunlight, legs swinging under them effortlessly. We find their fossils on every continent, from stream beds to floodplains. These were the first rulers of the new Earth. No one had seen anything like their gait before. By the Middle Triassic, Archosaurs are everywhere. Some stay small, skittering through underbrush. Others grow huge, as tall as a person or longer. Some have long necks to browse ferns. Others have razor teeth for meat. These Archosaurs include the ancestors of crocodiles and the ancestors of dinosaurs. For now, they share an upright foundation, but subtle differences in their bodies will set them on different paths. Step by step, these Archosaurs paved a new future. What small change will determine who rules the next chapter of Earth's story? A crocodile-like reptile slips silently into the swamp behind you. You only catch a glimpse of its foot as it wades away. Its ankle looks odd, a peg fitting into a socket, twisting as it moves. Then you spot a different reptile scurrying on narrow feet. Its ankle has a simple hinge, bending up and down like a door. These tiny bones hold a secret. Archosaurs in the Triassic are splitting down their ankles. One group will evolve into the line leading to dinosaurs and birds. The other will become the ancestors of crocodiles. The key difference is that ankle joint. One design favors speed and running. The other favors power and stability. It seems like a minor detail, but it will decide who dominates the land for the next 200 million years. Which side of the ankle will the future belong to? Your hand brushes away mud and reveals a strange armored back. It's a scute, part of an Ichthyosaur's armor. Ichthyosaurs are crocodile-line archosaurs, covered in bony plates from head to tail, like living tanks. Some are armadillo-sized, others stretch as long as a car. They have pig-like snouts for rooting ferns and wear heavy armor above. Others in this group carry spikes or clubs on their backs. Nearby, the swamp yields other beasts. Phytosaurs lurk in the water, prehistoric croc lookalikes with narrow jaws full of sharp teeth, catching fish or anything unlucky enough to wander close. Rauisuchians prowl on land, four-legged hunters, some as big as trucks, with thick legs and armor. Even by Middle Triassic times, creatures like Prestosuchus and Saurosuchus will prove how mighty this group is. The Pseudoseuchians, this crocodile archosaur group, are everywhere in every form. Some walk on two legs, others on four. Some stay small, scampering like giant iguanas. Others tower over 2 meters long. They fill river valleys, forests, deserts, across all continents. They are the Triassic's rulers, far more common than the earliest dinosaurs. A paleontologist dusts off a massive conical tooth and grins, joking, "Wish I had a shield." For now, the Pseudoseuchians rule. The dinosaurs are still tiny. The Cretaceous seems like 1,000,000 years away. For now, their dominance seems absolute. These creatures define the ecosystems, but this is only the opening act of the Triassic story. The Triassic arms race has begun. Who will claim victory in this early struggle? The midday sun casts deep shadows in a desert canyon. A paleontologist wipes limestone dust off a newly uncovered plate. This is a thick, bumpy scute, the armor of an Ichthyosaur. Nearby, a femur lies exposed, its surface etched with grooves. Every bone here is a clue. In labs, researchers study these fossils, slides of vertebrae, computer scans of pelvises, comparisons of armor plates. Each new specimen reveals something new. A variation in the spine, a subtle curve in the pelvis, a pattern in the plates. It's like assembling a giant jigsaw puzzle from millions of years ago. No single fossil is a revelation alone, but together they build our understanding of Triassic life. We learn how Ichthyosaurs moved, how they held their tails, how their armor fit. The technical terms and measurements add up to stories of real animals living real lives. For every layer of rock we peel back, we discover more details, variations in vertebrae, nuances in bone structure. Each find answers a question, but raises others. How did they walk? How fast? How did the armor evolve? This meticulous work is the cutting edge of paleontology. If fossils could talk, these scientists are learning the language. The more we dig, the richer the story becomes. The next slab split open will surely have its own surprise. What will the next fossil teach us? A paleontologist carefully extracts a fossil from sediment. It's a long, hollow bone that once supported a wing membrane. In another dig, she finds a tiny ankle with a different hinge. These belong to the emerging bird-line archosaurs. Triassic skies will soon have their first flyers, primitive pterosaurs with leathery wings, born long before birds or bats. They swoop above the swamp, albeit not as gracefully as later creatures. On the ground, early dinosaurs and their kin are learning their trade. These new reptile animals are lean and upright. They run on two legs and breathe efficiently with air sacs in hollow bones. It's a modest beginning, but they are refining the blueprint of flight and agility. Their presence is subtle. Slight differences in pelvis shape, hollow bones, even the beginnings of proto-feathers or frills. Each small change is a step toward flight and speed. They are experimenting silently in the shadows of giants. Yet, step by step, they are learning to thrive. One day, their lineage will command the skies and thickets. But for now, they wait. A century in Triassic time is nothing, and these innovations lay the ground for a revolution. What roles will they claim as the Triassic continues? You hear a sound like thunder in the brush and freeze. A massive reptile crosses the path, its body held high on pillar-like legs, jaws packed with serrated teeth. It is a Rawasuchian, one of the top predators of the Triassic. These creatures could kill anything they encountered, from armored Ichthyosaurs to smaller Archosaurs. For 30 million years, Rawasuchians were the kings of the Middle Triassic. They walked tall and claimed every food chain. They were the rulers before rulers, the true kings. Even so, every reign comes to an end. By the late Triassic, their fossils vanish from the layers. They leave no direct descendants. They are a dead-end dynasty. For now, their massive skulls gaze at us from the rocks. But their time is up. Even the greatest predators can disappear. As the Triassic world shifts, new reptiles, and eventually dinosaurs, will rise to take the lead. But in this moment, only ruins remain. Bones and teeth tell the story that abruptly stops. So if the greatest predator can disappear, who will inherit their world? You pause and gaze at the panorama. Endless hills of green and brown under a vast sky. Every rock and blade tells a story millions of years in the making. Birds will sing here long after these creatures are gone, and eagles will soar where titanopterans once hummed. The forest will age and die, mountains will erode, oceans will rise and fall. Our own time here is but a blink. As Lystrosaurus and the Rawasuchians fade into memory, we face our own uncertain future. When distant eras stretch on, what story will our bones and our words tell? The answers are buried in time, beyond our sight. Who will inherit the earth when all our empires have crumbled? Time itself will be the judge. Only time can answer these questions. Footsteps thunder through prehistoric ferns. The ground quakes. Something massive moves unseen. As the dust settles, enormous footprints appear in the mud. Reminders that Tinra world was shared with giants. Paleontologists unearthed dozens of predators 7 to 9 meters long. Folasuchus, Prestosuchus, and their kin, prowling this Triassic landscape. By comparison, Tinra was only 2.4 meters long. Fast, slender, and cunning, not the heaviest or fiercest. Yet in this primeval arena, it thrived by other tricks. Across ancient Pangaea, the crocodile line hunters dominated. Some grew gargantuan, others stayed medium-sized and swift. They ranged from bone-crushing skulls to knife-edged teeth built for quick kills. It was a dynasty of predators, using every strategy nature offered. You could imagine a paleontologist grinning, saying, "It was like a prehistoric safari, something big and nasty for every continent." The early dinosaurs were there too, but only on the edges. Tiny theropods scurried through the underbrush hunting insects, and long-necked proto-herbivores browsed vegetation, always staying out of the way of the bigger hunters. The Roasuchians had every advantage: larger bodies, proven designs, and claimed territories. Dinosaurs had potential, but potential doesn't catch prey. For now, the dinosaurs waited in the shadows, while their crocodile cousins ruled the Triassic. One wonders, what cosmic event or twist of fate will finally tip the balance? When the sun sets, the scene changes. As starlight emerges, insects begin a midnight symphony. From the burrows slip tiny creatures that will one day become mammals. Their fur and whiskers tingle at every sound and smell. Under the moonlit ferns, shrew-like cynodonts forage for frogs, worms, and sleeping insects, nimble hunters of the night. This quiet world is theirs. The massive archosaurs of day, the lumbering Ichthyosaurs at the riverbank, the 6-meter hunters roaming forests, vanish at dusk. In their silence, the tiny synapsids of the night take the stage. Each dawn, they retreat to burrows to warm themselves. Each twilight, they reemerge. The fossils never tell us their nighttime antics, so we imagine it. A small, furry hunter darting between leaves as much larger beasts snooze. Can this life, hidden in the dark, ever challenge the kings of the day? In truth, these mammals in waiting once ruled the world. In the late Permian, immense synapsids did everything and every niche. Saber-toothed gorgonopsians, up to 3 meters long, were the apex predators, and staggering herds of barrel-bodied dicynodonts grazed like oxen. They were the success story of deep time, until disaster struck. The Great Dying extinguished most of them. The gorgonopsians vanished, and only a few dicynodonts lurched into the Triassic before fading away. By the Middle Triassic, the synapsid glory days were over. The cynodonts that held on were small, easily overlooked, but special. They were growing fur, fine, insulating hairs that fossilize poorly but leave clues. Tiny pits on their snouts mark whiskers. Intricate jawbones hint at mastication. Complex nasal passages suggest endothermy. Their skeletons show rapid growth and a hardier metabolism. These nighttime hunters were evolving warm-bloodedness, piece by piece. Why go to all this trouble? Competition. In the scorching Triassic sun, cold-blooded archosaurs raced and hunted, while warmth heated their muscles. A small synapsid in broad daylight would be slow and sluggish, but at night the roles reverse. Reptiles cool down and slow, while a furry, warm-blooded cynodont stays alert. Suddenly the roof of the world belongs to the night. By shrinking themselves, developing fur and high metabolism, these little mammals found an open playing field that archosaurs left empty. Size and stamina cost too much fuel to maintain in the Triassic wilderness. Small bodies could survive on tiny meals. Night by night, they held on, generation after generation, simply by being ready when the sun slept. It isn't a grand victory yet, but it is a holding action that carries promise. Meanwhile, on the shores of the Great Tethys Sea, the next chapter of life unfolds. Where land meets sea, something remarkable is happening. Along the coast of a recovering ocean, the descendants of land reptiles are returning to water. This isn't the first return to the sea in Earth's history, but it is among the most dramatic. The beaches of Pangaea's eastern edge grow narrow under Triassic skies. Here, long-necked swimmers and armored fish hunters begin to shape the future of the seas. Enter the Ichthyosaurs, transitional swimmers. Picture a long-necked lizard with webbed feet. Its body is streamlined for swimming, yet still capable of lumbering onto the sand. Its neck sweeps side to side. Its narrow head snaps at fish with interlocking needle teeth. Watch a Ichthyosaur hunt. It glides through shallows, neck curved like a snake, bursting forward to seize prey in an instant. The sea here is shallow, warm, and filled with food. Nutrients wash in from Pangaea's rivers. Schools of fish and cephalopods thrive in the new waters. Reef skeletons rebuild and create hiding places. This rich coastal habitat is a buffet with no competition. In those same shallows, even tinier reptiles paddle about. Pachypleurosaurs dart like water rats among the reeds, snatching shrimp and small fish. Placodonts lumber more like armored tortoises, crushing shellfish with broad teeth, and some even growing their own bony armor. Each marine reptile finds its niche. Within a few million years of the Permian devastation, dozens of aquatic species appear, each adapted to a different life. Ambushers, sprinters, grazers. The ocean's former inhabitants were gone, and the niches were empty. For the coastal reptiles, the sea is a new frontier. The fish and shells left plenty of food on the table for anyone with fins. Evolution responded dramatically. Limbs became paddles. Bodies grew more fish-like. Tails flattened into powerful fins. One lineage, however, wasn't content with near-shore life. The leviathans were on their way. By the end of the Triassic, ichthyosaurs, fully aquatic, fish-shaped reptiles, reached sizes rivaling the largest animals ever. Imagine an animal 25 meters long, as big as a modern blue whale. They moved like torpedoes. Look at an ichthyosaur skeleton, and you see a creature built for speed. A rounded snout, a streamlined body tapered fore and aft, flipper-like limbs, and a tall fishtail. Their eyes were massive, over 25 centimeters across, letting them hunt in the dim blue depths. These were the cheetahs of the sea. Even the way they lived changed. Ichthyosaurs gave live birth. Fossils preserve pregnant females with embryos exiting tail first, just like dolphins. A fish that can't touch land never needs to lay eggs on a beach. It solves that problem the same way modern whales will. Ichthyosaurs appear suddenly in the fossil record right after the extinction, already adapted to life in water. By mid-Triassic, they diversified. By late Triassic, they grew into ocean giants. In April 2024, a fossil find turned heads. On a beach in Somerset, England, a collector noticed something huge protruding. Paleontologist Dean Lomax and colleagues excavated a massive jawbone, 2 meters long. They realized it belonged to an ichthyosaur about 25 meters long, living at the end of the Triassic, around 202 million years ago. They named it Ichthyotitan severnensis, giant fish lizard of the Severn. This creature was among the very last of the titans of the Triassic seas. We've traveled through deep time, from tropical floodplains to dark nights, from towering archosaurs to early mammals, from drying continents to rising seas. The story isn't over. In about 66 million years, an asteroid will strike and rewrite the rules, and those small nocturnal hunters will finally inherit the Earth. But that day lies far ahead. Tonight, in the age of Tinra and tiny cynodonts and prowling nothosaurs, only one question echoes through the ages. Who will write the next chapter of Earth's story? Pebbles shift underfoot on a windswept beach. A warm gust carries the scent of salt and ancient earth. We hear a small splash, a sudden crunch of stone underfoot. Ruby, an 11-year-old girl with curious eyes, is walking with her father when something catches her gaze. A bleached bone fragment, smooth and strange, juts from the rock at the water's edge. Ruby steps closer. Her heartbeat quickens. She sees it. A piece of an ichthyosaur's jawbone. The mundane morning sparkles with possibility. For a moment, an ordinary girl becomes a witness to deep time. Her father laughs in wonder, joking that he's now merely the assistant to a fossil hunter. Fossils do not care who finds them. They wait, patient and silent, until someone comes along. What other secrets might be hiding here, waiting to be found? Dust motes drift in a paleontology lab's fluorescent light. The sharp scent of chalk and glue hangs in the air as scientists lean over Ruby's bone fragment. Piece by piece, they assemble it. The jaw widens into something immense. This is Ichthyotitan, literally giant fish titan, the crown of Ichthyosaur gigantism. It rivaled today's blue whale in length and weight, yet its form was completely different. A whale strains tiny shrimp from water. Ichthyotitan hunted fish, squid, even smaller marine reptiles. Its pointed snout bristled with teeth as long as your hand. The lab falls quiet as we stare at this reconstruction. It's a creature at the extreme of possibility. One scientist wipes sweat from her brow and mutters with a grin. Our kid here is doing all the hard work of discovering new species. What could make a marine monster this powerful? The giants did not last. In an instant, life changed on Earth. 201 million years ago, the Triassic-Jurassic extinction struck with ferocity. Volcanoes belched ash, and temperatures soared. Sudden chaos rippled through the seas. The largest ichthyosaurs simply disappeared. Smaller relatives survived, but none ever reached Ichthyotitan's colossal size again. Even giants can't win forever, one scientist mutters with a wry grin. But the mystery remains. What catastrophe was so immense that it wiped out the ocean's apex predators? Along the coasts of Britain, chalk cliffs guard secrets from a deep past. We run our fingers over ancient stone. Once it was the floor of a shallow sea. Embedded in it are bones, fragments of those vanished leviathans. Sea spray and wind pry at the cliffs, sending slabs of rock into the surf. Most fragments will crumble unseen, yet occasionally a rib or vertebra peels free into the sand. A scientist carefully brushes limestone dust from a newly revealed bone and jokes, "Maybe we should hire kids for our digs. They seem to find all the good stuff." After all, the fossils do not care who finds them. They waited for Ruby, and they might be waiting for you. What other stories are locked in this rock, waiting for our touch? At the edge of the Triassic sky, something stirs. A flicker crosses the clouds. Soon a silhouette appears, outstretched wings slicing through the air. It's not a bird. That comes tens of millions of years later. It's not even a dragonfly on steroids. It is something entirely new. Something evolution has just invented. Powered flight in a reptile. This is a pterosaur. Its wings beat steadily, lifting it above land and sea. Its body is all wings and muscle, a new contender in the sky. We watch as it lands awkwardly, legs sprawling. One observer can't help laughing. "At least it's better at flying than at ballroom dancing," he quips. How did this clumsy creature become the first true flyer? In the pterosaur's wing is a hidden marvel. A thin sheet of skin and muscle stretches from its body to a single bone longer than its entire arm. The other fingers remain small and clawed for grasping, but that fourth finger is extraordinary, a support strut for a soaring wing. The bones are hollow and filled with air sacs, making the creature astonishingly light. Its chest sports a huge keel on the breastbone, where massive flight muscles attach. Every part of this animal is optimized for flight, strong enough to handle the stresses of soaring, yet light enough to lift its bulk. What demands did nature meet to let a reptile truly fly? In the shallow Triassic seas, we meet one of the first pterosaurs, and it is surprisingly small. Eudimorphodon, from the late Triassic of what will become Italy, had barely a 1-meter wingspan. Its body was an odd shape, a long tail for balance, short arms for walking, and a mouthful of sharp teeth for grabbing fish and insects. On land, it looks clumsy, almost like a lizard wearing wings. In the air, it is not elegant, but it works. We watch one touch down on a rocky shore, and a paleontologist grins. "Not bad for version 1, he says. This creature is proof of concept. It's not dominant, just the first in line. What heights will the descendants of this humble flyer reach? Across Pangaea, Archosaurs had already conquered land and sea. Now they were reaching for the sky. But why did it take so long? Insects had flown free for hundreds of millions of years, while vertebrates stayed earthbound. Perhaps the answer lies in extinction events. The great dying at the end of the Permian wiped out so much life that it effectively cleared the board. With fewer competitors, new flyers could evolve. Or maybe it was just chance, a matter of the right mutation at the right moment. But once the way was open, a flying vertebrate finally emerged. What world began in those earliest moments of true flight? If we could look up millions of years from now, we would see giants. Pteranodon with its 7-meter wingspan, Quetzalcoatlus as tall as a giraffe. For 160 million years, these flying reptiles will rule the Mesozoic skies. But here and now, in the late Triassic, the pterosaurs are newcomers. They are still rare and small, refining their design with each generation. They are present, though, spreading across the supercontinent. All around them, the air is beginning to teem with life in a way no creature of the Permian ever did. But this was just an early chapter. What marvels await in the sky ahead? Watch one fly. Its wing beats are strong but infrequent. The pterosaur likely used thermals and wind currents to stay aloft, flapping only when necessary. Its body is awkward on land. The folded wings are cumbersome, like carrying an umbrella you can't close. But in the air, everything changes. The awkward walker transforms into a graceful flyer. It banks and dives with precision that no land-bound predator can match. From the leafy canopy to the waves far below, this animal has opened a new hunting ground. The Triassic's insects and small reptiles now have airborne company, bigger, toothier company at that. Who will be next to share the skies? By this point in the Triassic, Earth is filling every niche. Forests march across what were deserts. New fish patrol the seas. The sky, once empty, is now busy. Life has rebuilt itself in every dimension after the Great Dying. Animals exist now that a Permian creature could never have imagined. The stage is set, and all players are present. But just as life seems settled, a new force is about to upend everything. What twist of fate will change this flourishing world next? Imagine this: a patch of desert quickly turning into an emerald jungle. Lush greenery surges across the continents. Giant ferns and early conifers spring up where sand once lay. Rivers overflow their banks, and wetlands expand relentlessly. In this new world, insects and amphibians might explode in number and variety. Giant salamander-like frogs and distant crocodile relatives roam the swamps. Plants that once crept slowly now climb to the sun, reshaping landscapes. A researcher slogging through deep mud grins. Some jobs really do come with their own swamp. Even dinosaurs benefit. Small, two-legged ones feel at home in the moist undergrowth. Immense pollen clouds fill the air. Without the heat of summer, even cold-blooded reptiles might roam further. Every leaf and insect is a banquet for life. But as nature benefits the greedy, only the quick and adaptable will survive the next turn. With every inch of land so enriched, what new players will emerge when flood turns deserts into jungles? It begins with rain. Not the usual seasonal drizzle on Pangaea's coasts, but a downpour that never seems to stop. The date is about 234 million years ago. The place is everywhere. For the next 2 million years, the planet is drenched. Rivers rise, lakes swell, and the great red deserts turn green. The land, once baked and brittle, becomes a swamp. We feel it in the air, the humid weight, the endless drum of rainfall. Life adapted to drought is suddenly in a water world. How does this deluge reshape life on land? We see it in the rocks. Red desert sands give way to dark mud. Ancient sediments that once glowed with rust now appear black and rich. Coal seams form for the first time since early Triassic. Fossil soils show evidence of waterlogging and swamps. It's as if the climate's mood flipped overnight. These layers are proof that something big changed the world. But what could drive such a radical, planet-wide climate shift? The cause, as with many deep-time mysteries, is buried in fire and smoke. A vast volcanic province in what is now Western North America erupts. Lava and gases billow, dumping enormous carbon dioxide into the air. Greenhouse gases pile up, warming the planet like a blanket. Warmer air holds more moisture. A feedback loop kicks in. Heat brings more water. More rain follows. The world becomes a greenhouse, and the greenhouse becomes a swamp. For the creatures caught in this storm, there is no refuge. Who will survive when the whole world is a furnace and a flood? For the creatures of the Middle Triassic, this is catastrophe. The Archosaurs that ruled dry lands, the rowdy crocodile relatives and armored herbivores, find their world transformed. The niches they had mastered are shifting beneath their feet. Drought-adapted predators slip on mud. Riverbank grazers drown in new wetlands. Food chains tumble. Extinctions spike. It's not a wipeout on the scale of the Great Dying, but it is severe. The strong, resilient survivors may be very different from those that fell. What kinds of lives find footing in this green and crowded world? This is where the story turns. Dinosaurs have been around since the Middle Triassic, but they were small and marginal, overshadowed by the rowdy crocodile relatives and armored survivors. They were survivors in the shadows, filling any gap left by bigger beasts. The rains change everything. the world now favors different shapes and strategies. Perhaps the dinosaurs' efficient breathing gave them an edge in the sticky, oxygen-rich air. Perhaps their upright posture helped them stride across soggy ground. Or perhaps no one knows the full reason. The important thing is that after the rains, dinosaurs begin to thrive. Could this water world have been the stage on which dinosaurs finally rose? The evidence unfolds. Fossil beds become richer in dinosaur bones. The creatures diversify, growing larger and spreading out. Within a few million years, dinosaurs are stepping into niches once held by others. The shift isn't overnight, but it is clear. The Carnian rain has cleared the way for dinosaurs. It gave them room to grow where others fall back. Life is on the move. How far will this change go? Listen to the Carnian world. Close your eyes. Hear the steady patter of rain on broad leaves, the rushing torrent of swollen streams, the constant drip from every surface. Feel the ground under your boot turn squelchy with mud. Breathe the humid air, heavy as soup in your lungs. Thunder rolls across skies that are never fully clear. There are cries from creatures hidden in dense forests, creatures you cannot name. This is a different Triassic, a wet world. The old order is trembling. The new one has not yet emerged. What will come out of this flood? 2 million years of rain, long enough for forests to march across continents and for species to emerge, adapt, or die out. And then, as suddenly as it began, the rain stops. The clouds break, the skies clear, and the climate swings back toward aridity. Lakes shrink, rivers fall silent, and deserts reclaim much of the interior land. The world that emerges is not the one that entered the rain. The dinosaurs are stronger now. The croc cousins are weaker. The stage is set for a new age. But what will the morning bring? The first dinosaurs do not look like rulers. They are small, most no larger than a dog, some barely bigger than a rooster. They stride on 2 legs, unusual for the time. Tails stretched out long behind them for balance, short arms, grasping hands, teeth suited for catching small prey and tearing at vegetation. These creatures are not flashy. They are not dominant. They are simply present, tucked into corners of ecosystems still ruled by older dynasties. Yet, they persist. Could anything mighty grow from such humble beginnings? Eoraptor means dawn thief, and even that name is humble. It prowled Argentina's jungles about 231 million years ago, only about a meter long and weighing maybe 10 kilograms. It caught insects, small vertebrates, perhaps plants when animal food was scarce. Herrerasaurus, a few million years later, was larger, 3 or 4 meters long, a true predator with curved teeth. It was one of the top hunters of its time. These early dinosaurs are a study in contrasts. One a tiny generalist, the other a mid-sized hunter. They shared the stage with croc-like predators, armored herbivores, and swamp dwellers. What paths might they carve out in a world still ruled by others? Nearby, armored phytosaurs lurked in the rivers, and rowdy crocodile relatives prowled the floodplain. Dinosaurs were not the top predators or dominant herbivores. They occupied secondary niches, living in the shadows of creatures that had ruled long before the rains, but they were spreading. The same dinosaur body plan appears across Pangaea, from what will become South America through Africa and beyond. Dinosaurs were diversifying and adapting in ecosystems from one continent to another. taking advantage wherever the rain left opportunities. What discoveries will reveal how they crossed these ancient roads? In May 2024, a team of researchers announced a surprise from Africa. On houseboats along the Zambezi River, they had been working in the region for years, camping on houseboats, excavating sites that were accessible only by water. The team had been doing something remote and hot. The conditions were difficult and the weather often unpredictable, but the payoff came with a single leg bone embedded in late Triassic mud on the shore of Lake Kariba. They named it Musinaqua sonatiensis, honoring their floating lab and the basin it came from. It was only the fourth dinosaur species ever named from Zimbabwe, and the first from the mid-Zambezi basin in over 50 years. One scientist jokes that even the boat wants credit. It did all the work floating them to the fossil. What creature did this leg belong to? Musinaqua was a sauropodomorph, an early relative of the later long-necked giants. In the late Triassic, it was still relatively modest in size, about 390 kilograms, walking on two legs. In a mix of woodland and open ground, it probably ate ferns and low plants. Its body plan looks familiar, upright and bipedal, with a long neck and tail, but by no means spectacular. What makes Musinaqua important is that it was ordinary. It was another dinosaur filling its place in the ecosystem, just like all its cousins in South America. It shows the early dinosaur rise was a connected phenomenon spreading across continents. Did Africa hold many such dinosaurs, slowly pushing out into the world? The researchers noticed something else. Early dinosaur fossils of this age turn up across the southern continents almost at once. South Africa, Argentina, now Zimbabwe. They all speak of dinosaurs arriving around the same time. The Carnian rains had opened doors, and the old dynasties were weakened. With efficient respiratory systems and adaptable bodies, dinosaurs were pushing through those doors. The large, croc-like carnivores still prowled forests. Armored herbivores still thrived by rivers. The late Triassic was a world in transition, and the outcome was not yet decided. But the trajectory was clear. The dinosaurs were rising, slowly but surely, generation by generation, from one continent to the next. What will happen when the dawn breaks fully and these new rulers emerge? A chisel strikes rock, and a cloud of fine bone dust drifts into the morning air. Pterosaurus weighs as much as a small car. We strain to heft a backpack and immediately feel humbled by its size. 6 to 10 meters long, this dinosaur has a small head on a long neck, a barrel-shaped body, and powerful hind legs that can support its weight on 2 feet or on all fours. Think of it like a giant animal the size of a pickup truck standing upright. It's an early prosauropod, a great-great-grandparent of giants like Brachiosaurus, Diplodocus, and Argentinosaurus. Its neck and gut are already designed to reach high leaves and digest tough plant fibers, and its sheer size is its best defense against predators. How did such an enormous creature appear so early in the Mesozoic? Mud clings to our boots as we step into a low-lying pool filled with dozens of skeletons. The late Triassic landscape of Germany was thick with Plateosaurus, and the fossils lie piled together like a prehistoric boneyard. Perhaps a drought or a mud trap caught a herd, and their remains concentrated here in one place. It tells us they moved in groups, sweeping across ferns and cycad forests, and consuming vegetation in huge quantities. These first dinosaur mega-herbivores shaped their world, Forests grew back differently after they grazed. Streams rerouted around the slick of fallen leaves they left behind. Before them, giant plant eaters like Dicynodonts and Rhynchosaurs had ruled, but those lineages were fading away. In those days, the big tanks of the Triassic were vanishing, one group after another. Nature was slowly swapping its old giants for these new ones. By the end of the Triassic, prosauropods like Plateosaurus would be the dominant huge plant eaters across much of Pangaea. Why did the cast of characters change? We kneel by the rocks, wondering where the very first dinosaurs came from. Fossils around 230 million years old already look like unmistakable dinosaurs, distinct from close cousins. But what were their ancestors like? Tiny archosaurs, no bigger than a turkey, roamed the forests. We trace fine claw marks in muddy stone or examine a small jawbone. These ancient relatives are frustratingly familiar. They have dino-like teeth, ankles, and hips, yet they're not quite dinosaurs. It's like spotting a creature at a zoo that looks almost real, but one detail is off. Some scientists call them silosaurids. Are they merely the closest cousins that never quite crossed the line? Or are they the very first dinosaurs in disguise? Early forebears of Triceratops and Stegosaurus. This debate has stirred paleontologists for decades. Could the secret to the dinosaur's origin be hidden in these borderline bones? In a Brazilian hillside, sunlight glints off a strange fossil and changes the conversation. A local doctor had dug out this bone years before and quietly passed it to scientists. They chipped away the rock and revealed a silosaurid skeleton with an unusual feature. It has 3 sacral vertebrae fused to its pelvis, just like a dinosaur. The line is blurring and fading between these species. They nicknamed it Gondwanax, Lord of Gondwana, since it lived when the southern continents were one landmass. It dates to about 237 million years ago, making it one of the oldest of its kind. If we count it as a dinosaur, then dinosaurs must have begun millions of years earlier than we realized, back in the Middle Triassic, not just at its very end. This little fossil has stretched our timeline. Does it mean dinosaurs were diversifying slowly in the shadows all along? We need more clues. One remarkable bone can't settle a decades-old question, but Gondwanax shows the prehistoric boundary has shifted. The first true giants are emerging in the fossil record. Plateosaurus in Europe and its kin, prosauropods scattered across Pangaea. Giant bodies are no longer a fluke. They are becoming common where they were once rare. In dark conifer woods or fern plains, you might glimpse these long-necked herbivores, standing taller than your house, reaching into treetops. Even from a distance, these 4- or 2-legged beasts dominate the landscape. Meanwhile, small dinosaurs and their cousins skitter at ground level, but the big plant eaters carry the day. In a few million years, they will drop the pro prefix as the true giant sauropods evolve. We wonder how this dynasty of lumbering giants took root from those tiny Triassic beginnings. Could creatures like Plateosaurus have sensed their own potential? Or was it just the slow march of evolution in giant footsteps? Below our feet, the world is changing. Pangaea is cracking. Deep rumbles shake the ground as the continents begin to drift apart. From the crust stretch long, jagged canyons of rifts, torn wounds that will one day fill with ocean water. Lava pours from huge fissures from present-day Brazil to Morocco. This Central Atlantic magmatic province is one of Earth's greatest volcanic events. For 600,000 years, rivers of basalt spill out, covering 11 million square kilometers. Billions upon billions of tons of carbon dioxide and sulfur gases belch into the sky. Far more than any volcano today, and far more than any industry we know. The planet responds violently. Temperatures spike, and the chemistry of the oceans turns sour. The ecosystems we see around us begin to unravel. Ash blocks out the sunlight as extinction sweeps in. The Triassic-Jurassic crisis unfolds, not as brutal as the Permian's Great Dying, but still catastrophic. About 75% of species vanish. Rainforest ferns wilt, reefs die. Trilobites and other small creatures vanish once more. The filter is brutal and unequal. Giant crocodile-like hunters called Rawasuchians, the apex predators of the Triassic, simply disappear from the record. The armored herbivores, the tanks of the Triassic, go extinct with them. Crocodile lookalikes called Phytosaurs, masters of the waterways, vanish too. The trees and ferns they once hid in reappear, but under new rulers. Ankylosaurs, armored dinosaurs, will inherit the niche. True crocodilians, just tiny swimmers then, endure. And 200 million years later, their descendants still lurk in the water. With smoke still clearing in the sky, one dominant chapter of Archosauria shuts its cover. Only one line survives the turmoil: the dinosaurs. We still do not know exactly why. The same volcanic winter that should have crushed the theropods spared them. The acid seas that killed the phytosaurs left some dinosaurs unaffected. Maybe they had subtle advantages. Perhaps their air sac breathing system, like in birds today, helped them breathe in thin, toxic air. Perhaps their rapid growth rate meant they reached adulthood and bred before disaster could strike. Perhaps they were simply in the right place at the right time when the die rolls of extinction fell favorably. In such chaotic worlds, luck can be as important as strength. We search the ashes for a clue, but can only shrug. The dinosaurs might just have gotten lucky. Finally, the skies clear and the world recovers. Green returns and rivers teem once again. In this recovered world, the dinosaurs are already there to claim it. The other reptiles that dominated have vanished, leaving open real estate. The Jurassic Age belongs to the dinosaurs alone. For 135 million years, they will spread across every continent and fill every habitat. They become everything from the largest land animals in history to the fiercest predators. Imagine monsters like Tyrannosaurus with hips taller than a man, or herds of Triceratops beating feet like thunder. This flows from our moment now, the end of the Triassic, the extinction that cleared the board. Everything that comes after, from the tiny velociraptor scurrying along riverbanks to the gentle giants of the Cretaceous, flows from this same instant of deep time. What unimaginable forms will evolution cook up next from this well of survivors? The chapter of the Triassic is done, but its pages remain all around us. 50 million years worth of life, recovering from near annihilation, fill these rocks. It was an age of rough-hewn forests and skies patrolled by first pterosaurs. It was an age of breakthrough body plans, long-necked herbivores, towering bipeds, early armored beasts that would dominate the Mesozoic. The ashes of its volcanoes gave way to green woods once more. The rivers, once full of poison, became safe for fish again. The gills wiped out by the crisis were gradually filled by new lineages. The cynodonts, small, furry, night-prowling ancestors of mammals, survived in the shadows. They will continue to evolve and wait, but their time is still far in the future. Pterosaurs cling to the skies, destined to become the largest flying animals ever. Ichthyosaurs shrink from giants to minnows, but their line will last another 100 million years. The survivors of the Triassic chapter, alligators, turtles, some frogs, early mammals, live on quietly in the background. None knew the story they were in. They just lived and died and left bones for us to find. Night has fallen on Pangaea. The great extinctions are over and the survivors rest. Now the Jurassic sun will rise on the world they inherit. We have traveled from the silence after the great dying to the fire of the camp eruptions, from empty coasts of united Pangaea to the crowded forests full of Pterosaurus, from a lone Lystrosaurus trudging through ash to herds of giant prosauropods browsing ancient trees. 50 million years of recovery, 50 million years of evolution, 50 million years of life, finding ways to fill every available space, to exploit every resource, to become something new. The Triassic is a story of resilience. Life was nearly wiped out, and it came roaring back. The world was broken, and it healed. Niches emptied by disaster were filled again and again. No creature knew what the future held. Dinosaurs just kept surviving, generation by generation, the way every living thing does. The Rawasuchians never knew their reign would end. The Cynodonts never knew their patience would be rewarded after many ages. None of them knew anything. They simply lived, died, and left bones for us to unearth. And those bones tell the story. The rocks remember what the animals could not. A deep quiet holds this moment now. The world rests, perched on the brink of the Jurassic. What other secrets lie buried in the stone? What new chapter will begin with the coming dawn? The Earth has been turning for 4.5 billion years, and it will keep spinning while we sleep. The continents will move a little more. The stars will wheel overhead. The deep time that holds the Triassic also holds you, here in the quiet dark. The Triassic is behind you. The Jurassic is ahead.